Hi there, Vanessa Warwick here of Property Tribes TV and the Property Tribes Forum, and now I'm going to speak to mortgage broker Lisa Orme about I guess leveraging the power of the social web from an IFA's point of view. And I think, Lisa, what's interesting about you is that you and I actually met on a forum probably about 3 years ago now, but you've actually been a contributor to the social web for probably about 10 years now. How did you first sort of get involved?
Well, I mentioned on one of the other videos that what got us into property in the first place was Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that was what started me in what we now term social media, although I didn't know that's what it was at the time.
It wasn't called that at the time, was it?
And I think when I got started the internet was new, I don't know anything else. But yeah, I just, at the back of Rich Dad Poor Dad, it sort of said need further information, and it got the Rich Dad website, so went off there, had a look, read all of the reports and everything, and spotted this thing called a discussion forum, which I'd never heard of before. So popped on there, and that was it. It was just like the world is your oyster. I started asking lots of questions about property. It was pretty much American based at the time, and was just totally amazed at these people who had never met me, didn't know me from Adam, were offering just incredible amounts of support and advice. People would send me contracts and documents and adverts and all sorts of things, people that I'd never ever met before. So the Rich Dad Forum started it off. That sort of spun me off in different directions. It was on the Rich Dad Forum that I actually met Ollie Corns, who founded Singing Pig.
Yep.
And he emailed me off forum and said, this is great, and he's in IT, and he said, we need something like this in the UK. And I said, yeah, that sounds great. Singing Pig was born, and Ollie and I were the first posters on Singing Pig, God knows how many years ago now.
Yeah.
And then it's just all spun out from there, really.
Now, you've invested a lot of time in contributing to the social web and helping people and answering questions, and you did that a long time before you had anything to sell in property. Was that something that kind of came naturally to you?
Yeah, again, it was just sort of serendipitous about who you meet, and I was posting a lot on the forums. I really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of it was perhaps there's an element of I'm quite talkative and I like to chat to people. Property's quite a solo endeavour, even though me and my husband work together. He's quite quiet, I'm the gobby one, and to chat to other people and learn new things. There was definitely an element of giving back as well. I'd had all of these people who'd given to me just incredible amounts of information, and it was nice to be able to return that when you know a little bit more than the person asking the question. I also saw it as a great way to learn myself. A lot of people have often said, you know, how do you know so much? Because I go and ask the question. And if I see a question that I don't know the answer to, I go off and research it and then come back and help other people. But also, you know, again, as part of being in social media, I met Vanish Patel, who a lot of people know. I actually contacted him through his website. We were looking for a business angel for something else that we were working on at the time. We got on really well. He was saying about how much he loved my posts, and I'd got a real gift for writing. And he said, you should do a newsletter. And I was like, why would I do a newsletter? Well, just do it just because. It doesn't matter if you've got nothing to sell. It's a great way to meet people and look for investors was the original aim, really. So I started a property newsletter, and then articles, and then books, and you get, you know, asked to write for various publications and things, and it just all spins off from there.
And I think what's such a lovely story about all of this is that you've been contributing to the social web and answering questions on forums and supporting young investors, etc., for about 10 years. And now you've recently qualified, well, it's probably in the last couple of years you've qualified as a mortgage broker, and now people know you so well for everything you contributed that you're just inundated with people wanting to work with you.
Absolutely, and to set up a mortgage brokerage in this financial climate, I have had a lot of people tell me I want my head testing and this sort of thing, and it's so many brokers have gone bust. Over two-thirds of brokers have left the industry, either forcibly or voluntarily, and we choose to actually start a mortgage brokerage. But we're absolutely inundated, and it's like you see people these days are advised to have a business plan, and as part of that business plan is to have a social media plan. We sort of did it in reverse, and by accident, you know, I built up a profile, I built up hopefully a good reputation.
Definitely.
Showed people my experience and my knowledge as a property investor. So when we became mortgage brokers, it was just a natural extension to go back to a client base we've been building up for 10 years and say, hey, we've now got something to sell. And it was like opening the floodgates. It's been absolutely incredible, and being able to go back to magazines and things that we've written for over the years and say, you know, we've been writing all those articles and never had a slant, you know, now we've got a slant, and it, you know, it just works really, really well.
Well, I think essentially you built up a following of people that got to know you through your content and learnt to trust you for great advice, and now essentially, well, Nick and I call that contribution currency, that you're being repaid for all of the stuff that you have contributed to the web, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. I mean, how often do you get a phone call saying, I read something you wrote on Singing Pig, I read something you wrote on Property Tribes, and these might be things that you wrote maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but they've attracted somebody to you.
Absolutely.
Is that common?
And yeah, pretty much almost every inquiry is, I've read your article here, or I've seen you here, or and then probably 1 in 3 are people that say, oh, I used to read your posts on Singing Pig, I haven't posted on Singing Pig for a couple of years. Or I remember seeing you at an event in Ealing. Well, we ran a big conference in Ealing back in about 2003. So, you know, it's just absolutely amazing that people remember you and obviously have a respect for what you had to say at the time, and then come back and want to use you in a business sense. And it's so rewarding, and it is part of this, you know, as I say, the social media strategy now is about getting people to like you and to trust you and want to do business with you. And you know, it's just brilliant that we've done that, you know, in reverse.
Yeah, and I think it's just so nice that you've just done it through sharing for the sake of sharing and not with an agenda, because anything that's done from a marketing angle by its very nature isn't social, because there's an agenda behind it. But I think you've been seen as a very authentic contributor because you've had such a record of just sharing because you love to chat about property, a bit like me. We're both forum and Twitteraholics, aren't we?
Yeah.
So just to finish, IFA is thinking of getting involved in the social web. Can you honestly say there is a tangible return on investment?
Oh God, I'm living proof. I really am. You know, my business is thriving in a marketplace where most of the equivalent businesses are collapsing, and I can put it hand on heart down to a social media strategy. You know, it wasn't a deliberate one, but it is social media and getting out there and letting people trust you and respect you and understand that you know what you're talking about. You know, I've only been a mortgage broker relatively recently. I haven't been in the business for 30 years, but you know, I pick it up very quickly. I do a lot of research into the products and the services, but more importantly, I'm fundamentally a property investor, so I know where property investors are coming from and know what they want to achieve.
I think that's a huge advantage in your line of business to be an investor yourself. And you know, I think what's so great about Lisa is you can read her content. If you like what she says, get in touch with her. And if you like what she says and you don't want to get in touch with her, that's fine as well. We're just here to share information and to help you grow and learn and develop. And if we've helped you somewhere along the way, then we're very happy with that as well, aren't we?
Definitely.
All right, well, Lisa's contact details are on the video for you, and thank you very much for watching this Property Tribes interview with Lisa Orme.